Hello, my name is Matthew Perkins, and today I'd like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons. That's right, both of them. So in my personal life, I'm a violent and unapologetic criminal. So I give a lot of thought to being chased, mainly, by the law or random do-gooders, anybody that's going to jam a cricket bat in the gears of my diabolical machine. And yesterday, I woke up with a complete rule set for D&D chasing rules, just fully formed in my mind. And I kind of like them. I reckon they're pretty good. Maybe they're pretty bad. Who knows? But I'm going to share them with you and you be the judge. Of course, there are already some rules in the DM's guide for running a chase scene, but they don't really work for me. I tried running it once. My players got a little bit confused. I got a little bit confused. And I accidentally ruined a scene that I was really excited about. And it was just me. They didn't work for me. I'm sure they're fine mechanically. But it was a little bit too much like combat. So I wanted to devise something that wasn't as much like combat, a little bit more loosey-goosey that you can have fun with. So what I landed on was a modified skill challenge. A skill challenge is a popular thing. The idea is that you make a bunch of skill checks and you're looking for a set number of successes and you don't want to get 3 failures. Once you get 3 failures, you've failed and there's some kind of narrative appropriate consequence. Main differences to the official rules is that we're not tracking distances at all, and we're not going to track initiative. We're just going to go, the NPCs go, the players go. The NPCs go, the players go. Step 1 in setting up a Perkins chase is you want to determine how difficult you want it to be. So in general, I would prefer it to be 3 successes before 3 failures. But if you want it to be a little bit more difficult, you could go 4 successes before 3 failures, or maybe even 5. I wouldn't go more than that because I think it would be hard to keep the repetition interesting past then. 3, easy to keep interesting. The next thing you want to do is determine advantage and disadvantage based on move speed, because everyone has got different speeds and that's okay. So let's say the party is chasing the Destroyinator, which in this case is my fist. I don't actually call my fist the Destroyinator. I'm a non-violent human. There was a joke earlier about being a violent criminal. Don't listen to the press. So we've got the Destroyinator, which is this bad boy, and he's being chased by 3 people. Destroyinator has a move speed of 30 feet, and it's being chased by someone that has 25 feet, 30 feet, and 35 feet. So when they're making their skill checks, the Destroyinator is always going to roll just a straight roll, not advantage, not disadvantage. The 25-foot person, they're slower than the Destroyinator. They've only got 25 feet versus 30, so this little piggy rolls at disadvantage on all of their skill checks. The one that runs at 30 feet, which is the same, they're at parity, so they just roll straight as well. And the one that's faster than the Destroyinator, they roll at advantage because they're a bit faster. I'll put these away. So the next thing in line on the old Perko chase, number 3, is to think of some kind of complication. And you can go to the DM's guide and they've got a list of complications in the official rules for chasing, and they're all pretty good. And it's all going to be determined by this sort of scene and you decide what's appropriate. But you want to get a complication and you want to work out what skill check you would need to overcome it. So some examples would be if you are in a desert and it's chased through the desert, the complication might be working your way and doing an athletics check to pull your way out of quicksand. Or if you're in the jungle and the chase goes across some fetid water, you might make a constitution check. Or if you're being chased through a rowdy tavern, then you might have to make an insight check to sort of navigate your way through the drunks. So the 4th thing that happens, and now we're at the juice. We're in the juice zone now. Welcome. The quarry, whatever they roll on that ability check to get past that complication, that's what determines the DC of the ability checks for everybody else. Because the players just need to do better than the quarry did at overcoming, because so they can gain ground or lose ground, because it's all relative. So the 5th thing that the pursuers need to do to catch up to the Destroyinator over here is that they need to make the same check. I suppose you could do it differently, where they could make a different relevant ability check to get around the same obstacle, but I personally would keep it the same ability check, just so it's all relative. And if they get higher than the quarry got, then they get a success, which is good. That means they're gaining ground. If they get lower, then that means they didn't gain any ground or they lost ground. If they get spot on the same DC as whatever the quarry rolled, for DCs, the rule is, in my book, is always meets it, beats it. So if they need to get a 15 and they get a 15, yeah, they beat it. That's fine. After that, we go back and forth for a little bit, and we keep on throwing different interesting complications there, and until the chase ends. And at the end of the chase, it might be combat, it might be an interrogation, who knows? Now, that's just the gist of it, because there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff that the players can do. Players want to get creative, they want to do more all the time, and I want to let them. So there's an opportunity cost here. You can do one thing, okay, but there's a cost. You can't do this other thing if you do this one thing. So at any point, when it comes to the player's turn to roll, they can instead choose to make an attack or cast a spell or do some kind of major class ability if it's an action or whatever. But the thing is, when they choose to do something different to get some kind of benefit, ideally, they have to take a fail. They don't roll the ability check. Instead, they do some other thing and they take an automatic fail in the skill challenge. Maybe the players are wondering, but I need to know how far away I am from them because I have ranged spells. And I've got Spell Sniper, I'm in the clock tower, and technically I can hit from 2 miles away or something. No, that doesn't matter here because it's all relative to how far you are away with the successes or fails. That's what determines how far away you are in this instance, in this abstraction. So if you want to make a ranged attack on the thing you are chasing, the quarry, the Destroyinator, then you need to be 1 success away from completing the skill challenge. So if you need 4 successes to win this skill challenge, which we would have decided right at the start, then you would need to be on 3 currently in order to start hurling javelins or eldritch blasts or maybe even other creative spells at the Destroyinator. If you want to cast some kind of touch or melee effect on an ally, then you would need to be on the same number of successes as them. So you're keeping the same pace as them. So if they're on 2, you'd need to be on 2 as well. Of course, there's all kinds of fun effects that you can inflict on the Destroyinator or grant to your allies. You could maybe attack the Destroyinator, not your allies, and it would be on less health when you have to fight it later. Maybe that's helpful. But what about the kind of things that just stop it dead? What about the things that just hold person or entangle? Well, it's not fun, I don't think. I don't think it's very fun that this effect just ends the chase. But it needs to grant some kind of benefit. So in this abstraction of a chase, if you want to, instead of rolling, you want to take a fail and try and cast a spell on the Destroyinator, like hold person, then what happens is if it fails its saving throw against being held, then everybody on your team that's pursuing, they catch up a little bit. They all get a free success, except you, because you stopped to do one of those, cast your spell. By the same token, if you were to cast some kind of effect that slows it down, like Ray of Frost, it would deal the damage as normal, and it would also reduce its movement speed. So if it was moving this fast, now it's moving only this fast. And suddenly that gnome is moving faster than the Destroyinator. Ooh, what a shame. So you can redetermine the advantage. Suddenly for the next round, the gnome that is now faster is rolling at advantage instead of disadvantage. Isn't that nice? Gnomey. Ooh. I actually don't know if you're allowed to call gnomes gnomey. Sorry, mate. Of course, clever players are going to quickly realize that some beneficial spell effects will just bypass some challenges logically. And that's great. That's what I love. I love players thinking. So the wizard might go, hey, we're trying to climb this big old wall. Can't I just cast fly on the fighter, So what would happen is the wizard, in lieu of rolling the ability check, they would go, I'm going to cast this spell on the fighter. So they cast a spell, they tick off the spell slot, they take the automatic fail because they've taken an action. And the fighter then logically can completely bypass that part of the skill challenge, that ability check. So this effect, this flying effect, it only lasts a round in this abstraction because I don't want them to bypass every part of it, every part of the skill challenge, because that's no fun. I want to see people be creative. And the same thing with the negative spell effects cast on the Destroyinator, because if they just hold him, he's not held forever. He just makes his save the next round and he keeps on running because it's a chase. Let's keep chasing. Have you ever seen a movie where the chase scene only lasted 1 round, 6 seconds? Like Jackie Chan's chasing the triads through the streets of wherever he is, and they run through the glass, the pane glass as the guys are moving across the street, just knocked out cold. That's the end of it. And then they just have like a weird scene where the ambulance comes and Jackie Chan has to give a statement. I think that's actually a pretty good movie. Okay, so what happens if the pursuers fail? What if they fail the ability check 3 times? Well, that just means they're out of the chase, so they're not making ability rolls anymore, and they also suffer a point of exhaustion. And if all of the pursuers fail in this way, then the quarry escapes, and who knows where they go, wherever they're going. On the other hand, this one, if the pursuers catch up to the quarry, and by that I mean they've made the correct number of successful skill checks, and multiple people might catch up at the same time if they're keeping pace, then the pursuit is over, and maybe that results in a fight. If it does result in combat, then what happens is the quarry, and the 2 people that may be caught up with it at the same time, they roll initiative as normal, and they start fighting. And everybody else, including people that completely dropped out of the skill challenge, or people that were just, 1 success behind, they will all join combat a little bit later. They'll all join at the same time on round 2. So that kind of staggered start to combat, that could be a little bit fun, because I imagine if whoever you're chasing, they managed to catch up to their mates, the people that they were running to, their big brother. And you're the one lone fighter, and you were quick. Ooh, you were quick. And you caught up. You ended the chase. So 1 round, it's just you and his 5 mates. And I love the image of somebody rounding a corner and then just having to fight everybody, like just getting into a fight that they can't win for 1 round until their wizard gnome pals show up. So that's my chase rules. That's the Perkins chase rules. And if you would like a better example, a more clear breakdown of round by round by round, what happens in this kind of thing, then you can go to my blog, which is matthewperkins.net. And sorry for rubbing my eyes all the time. It's really late. It's like midnight. And I'm quite tired. But you can go to my blog, matthewperkins.net, and there's a round by round breakdown there. And it should clear it up a lot better. Though I think this is pretty clear. I think I expressed what I meant. I haven't playtested this a whole lot. I've got to have a bit more of a go. In fact, if you use it, if you happen to have a go at this in your game, I hope you do, just let me know how you go. Any changes you'd like to make, because I'm just looking for something that works. And if you have a suggestion on how to tweak it to make it work better or make it more interesting or more fun, then I'm totally open to any kind of constructive criticism. Yeah. So, usual dealio, I've got a Twitter, which is @mperkinsdm, and I've got a website, which is matthewperkins.net. I've got a Reddit. I've got a Reddit, which is rmperkins. No, it's not. It's Matthew Perkins. That's the full name. That's all this guy. And that's the end of the video. So, hey, thank you for watching. I'm going to be away next week, but I'll record something anyway and set it on auto upload. You'll see me from the past. It'll be great. But hey, yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you use the rules. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, whatever. Just you do whatever you want. I'm really proud of you. Keep it up.